The wyvern's screech split the air as its tail whipped around, slamming into Garrett's shield with enough force to send the dwarf tank stumbling backward. His boots scraped against loose gravel as he fought to keep his footing, but his left arm hung at an awkward angle, the shoulder clearly dislocated from the impact moments before. Blood streamed down the side of his face from a deep gash across his temple, dripping onto his chest plate. He was breathing hard, each breath coming in ragged gasps.
Henrik, heal me, now.
Henrik was already casting, his hands glowing with the standard golden light of emergency healing magic. The energy wrapped around Garrett's shoulder, and with a sickening pop, the bone snapped back into socket. The bleeding from his temple slowed to a trickle, then stopped entirely. Garrett rolled his shoulder once, testing the joint. Then his face went pale.
What in the hells? Why am I still so weak?
He tried to lift his shield, but his arm trembled violently under the weight. The shield dropped 6 inches, exposing his entire left side.
The bone's set. The wound is closed. You're healed.
Healed? I can barely lift my damn arm.
Behind him, the wyvern banked in the air, circling for another diving attack, its yellow eyes locked onto the gap in Garrett's defense. Marcus, the party leader, was shouting orders from his position on the right flank.
Garrett, hold the line. We need you up front.
Garrett tried to raise his shield higher. His entire arm shook with the effort. The shield wobbled, dipped, and finally dropped another few inches.
I can't. Something's wrong. I'm not getting stronger.
The wyvern dove. Garrett couldn't raise his shield in time. The creature's talons raked across his chest plate with a screech of metal on metal, sending him sprawling onto his back. The impact knocked the wind out of him. Senna, the party's elf archer, loosed 3 arrows in rapid succession from her position on a rocky outcrop. The first arrow flew wide, missing the wyvern's wing by a full 2 feet. The second grazed its scales harmlessly. The third embedded itself in the creature's tail, barely. She swore under her breath, staring at her bow like it had betrayed her.
My aim's completely off. I feel sluggish, heavy.
Henrik glanced at her, then back at the wyvern.
You are sluggish. You took a hit from its tail 10 minutes ago. You're still injured.
Senna looked down at her left side where the wyvern had caught her earlier in the fight. The wound was closed. Henrik had healed it immediately, but her movements had been slow ever since, her body compensating for damage that would take days to fully recover from naturally.
I'm healed, aren't I? The wound is closed.
Closed doesn't mean restored. Your body still took the damage. You need rest.
Rest?
Marcus's voice cut across the battlefield like a whip.
What is happening up there? Garrett, get up. Senna, cover him. We've fought wyverns a dozen times.
But they couldn't. Garrett struggled to his feet, shield hanging limply from his weak arm. Senna knocked another arrow, but her draw was shaky, compensating for the pain in her side. The wyvern landed on a boulder 30 feet away, wings spread wide, watching them with predatory intelligence. It knew they were wounded. It knew they were weak. Henrik watched the party scramble into defensive positions, and something cold settled in his stomach as he observed their tactics. The way Garrett kept trying to hold an aggressive forward position despite being unable to lift his shield properly. The way Senna kept attempting shots that required perfect balance and core strength she no longer had. The way Marcus kept calling for them to push forward, to engage, to attack. They were fighting like they expected to be able to tank damage indefinitely. Like they expected to get stronger during the fight, not weaker. Like they'd never learned basic survival tactics. Henrik's eyes narrowed. How in the name of the gods did these people survive this long?
My name is Alara. I'm 23 years old, and I've been a healer for 5 years. I joined Marcus's party when I was 20. He found me working basic escort quests in the capital. Easy work, decent pay, nothing remarkable. He said his party needed a dedicated healer, that they were going places, that I could make real money if I was willing to work hard. I said yes. For the first year, everything seemed fine. We took progressively harder quests, cleared bandit camps, hunted monsters in the outer forests, built a reputation. Marcus was confident, sometimes arrogant, but he got results. Garrett was steady and reliable, a dwarf tank who could hold a line. Senna was quiet but skilled with a bow. And me? I healed them when they got hurt, kept them alive, and we succeeded. But somewhere in the second year, things started to shift. It was small at first. After a successful quest, when we'd return to the inn, Marcus would ask me to cook dinner.
You're so much better at it than the rest of us. We'd probably burn the place down.
Then it was cleaning the armor after hunts, packing the gear in the mornings, organizing the loot for sale, restocking potions and supplies.
Garrett would hand her his blood-stained chestplate with a casual smile.
You've got an eye for detail. I just miss spots.
Senna would smile and leave her cloak draped over Alara's chair.
You don't mind, do you? You're so much faster at mending.
And I'd do it, because we were a team, because we were succeeding, because the Adventurers Guild had ranked us in the top 15 parties in the region, and that meant something. I told myself it was fine, that everyone contributed in different ways. I told myself I was valued. The first time Marcus knocked on my door late at night, I thought something was wrong. We'd just finished a manticore hunt. Big payout, 300 gold pieces split 4 ways. Everyone was celebrating in the common room of the inn, drinking and laughing about the fight. I'd gone to bed early. I was exhausted. The knock came around midnight. I opened the door to find Marcus leaning against the doorframe, still in his traveling clothes, smelling faintly of wine.
Hey, can I come in? I wanted to talk to you about something.
I hesitated, suddenly very aware that I was in my nightclothes and the hallway was empty. Is something wrong with the quest payment?
No, nothing like that. Just, I've been thinking. About you, about us, about how well we work together.
My stomach tightened. Marcus, it's late. If this is about party business, we can talk in the morning.
His smile faltered for just a moment.
It's not really party business. It's more personal.
Then definitely in the morning. Good night, Marcus. I started to close the door. His hand shot out, catching the edge. Not forceful, not aggressive, just stopping it.
Alara, come on. Don't be like that. I just want to talk.
And we will. Tomorrow. Good night, Marcus. I closed the door firmly and locked it. I heard him stand there for a few seconds. Then his footsteps retreated down the hall. I told myself I'd misread the situation, that he really did just want to talk about the party. I told myself it was fine. The second time, I couldn't pretend anymore. Another successful hunt, another celebration, another late-night knock. Except this time, he didn't knock, he just tried the handle. I'd locked it this time.
Ilara, open up. I know you're awake.
I didn't answer.
We need to talk. About your role in the party, about your future here.
My heart was pounding. I stayed silent.
Ilara, come on. Don't make this difficult. I'm trying to be nice here.
Still nothing. There was a long pause. Then his voice changed, harder now, colder.
You know, you could show a little more gratitude. I'm the one who gave you this opportunity. I'm the reason you're making gold instead of running escort quests for copper. The least you could do is be a team player.
I sat on my bed, staring at the locked door, feeling something cold settle in my chest. Good night, Marcus. I heard him shift his weight, heard him breathe out through his nose, that sharp exhale of irritation. Then his footsteps retreated, and I knew things were going to change. After that night, Marcus started assigning me more tasks.
Since you're already handling breakfast, why not dinner too? It'll streamline things. Your support, Alara. You're not taking hits like Garrett or landing kills like Senna. A smaller share makes sense. Let's leave the tactical planning to the damage dealers, yeah? No offense.
Garrett and Senna didn't say anything. They piled their laundry in my room. Assumed I'd take care of it. Laughed along when Marcus made comments about how I should contribute more to the team. I was cooking every meal, cleaning everyone's gear, organizing everything, and my share of the loot kept getting smaller, but we were still succeeding, still ranked high, still getting contracts. So I told myself it was temporary, that once we made enough money, once we climbed higher, things would balance out. I told myself to endure. The third time Marcus came to my door, he didn't bother with pretense.
You're being difficult. I've been patient, more patient than most leaders would be. But you need to understand how things work.
I do understand, and I'm not interested.
He laughed, a short, harsh sound.
Not interested. Right. Ilara, do you have any idea how many healers would kill to be in a top-ranked party? Do you think your healing makes you special?
I didn't answer.
You're replaceable. There are 50 healers in this city alone who could do what you do. If you want to keep your spot, if you want to keep making money, you need to be smart about this. You need to work with me, not against me.
I've never worked against you.
Then stop acting like you're too good for this party. Stop acting like you have options. Because you don't. No other party is going to take a healer with an attitude problem. They'll ask me for a reference, and I'll tell them the truth. That you were difficult, ungrateful, and refused to be a team player.
I stared at him through the gap in the door.
Are we clear?
Very clear.
He smiled.
Good. I'm glad we understand each other.
He walked away. And I realized with perfect clarity he genuinely believed this would work. He genuinely thought I would give in eventually, that I had no choice, that I needed him more than he needed me. He was wrong, but I didn't know that yet. 2 weeks later, the Adventurers Guild posted an emergency quest. Goblin raid on Milford Village, a farming settlement about 2 hours south of the capital. The village's young adults were away at the regional harvest fair, leaving mostly elderly residents and children behind. 3 goblin warbands had been spotted moving toward the village at dawn. The guild dispatched 3 parties to respond. We were the first to arrive. Milford was already under attack when we crested the hill. Smoke rose from the eastern side of the village where the goblins had broken through the wooden fence. We could hear screaming, the clash of weapons, the crackle of fire spreading through a wheat field.
Marcus pulled his horse to a stop and assessed the situation with a practiced eye.
This is a disaster. Where's the night order? They were supposed to be here.
They're coming from the northern garrison. They'll be here in 20 minutes, maybe 30. We just need to hold until they arrive.
Hold? Look at that mess. If we go in there, we'll be fighting for hours, maybe days. And for what? Standard emergency pay?
For the contract. The contract says we hold the line and protect the civilians until reinforcement arrives.
The contract assumes we'd have backup already here. This isn't worth the risk. We showed up. We did our part. The other 2 parties can handle it.
He turned to Garrett and Senna.
We're pulling out. That's an order.
Garrett frowned, looking down at the village where an elderly woman was trying to shepherd 3 small children away from a burning building.
Marcus, those are civilians down there, kids.
And there are 2 other parties already engaging. They can manage until the knights show up. We're pulling out. That's an order.
Marcus.
That's an order, Ilara.
He didn't look at her, didn't wait for a response.
Let's move.
Garrett and Senna exchanged a glance. Ilara saw the hesitation in their faces, the brief moment where they seemed to be weighing the decision. Then Garrett turned his horse. Senna followed. And Ilara sat there on her horse, watching them start to ride away, while below a goblin dragged a screaming child toward the broken fence line.
I'm staying.
Marcus stopped, turned slowly in his saddle.
What did you just say?
I'm staying. There are children down there, elderly people who can't defend themselves. If we leave them...
If we stay, we die. Use your head.
The night order will be here in 20 minutes. We just need to hold.
Marcus rode back toward her, his voice dropping to that cold, controlled tone she'd come to recognize.
We need to survive. You want to play hero? Fine. Do it on your own time. But you're part of this party, and you follow my orders. We're leaving. Now.
I looked past him at Garrett and Senna. They wouldn't meet my eyes. No, I'm staying.
Marcus's expression went completely flat. No anger, no disappointment, just cold calculation.
Then you're done. As of this moment, you're not part of this party. Don't come looking for your share of any past contracts. Don't expect a reference. Don't expect anything. You're finished.
He turned his horse.
Let's go.
Garrett shifted uncomfortably but followed. Senna looked back at Alara once, something unreadable in her expression. Then she followed too, and Alara was alone.
I dismounted, tied my horse to a tree, and ran toward the village. I'm not a fighter. I've never been trained for combat. I can throw a basic shield spell, but that's about it. But I'm a healer, and people were dying. I found the elderly woman with the 3 children first. She was hobbling on a cane, trying to move faster than her body would allow, one hand gripping the smallest child's wrist. 2 goblins were closing in from behind, crude spears raised. I didn't think. I just ran. Get to the root cellar. I'll cover you.
She turned, eyes wide with terror, and saw Alara, saw her healer's robes, saw the guild insignia.
Go.
She moved, dragging the children with her. The first goblin lunged at the smallest child, a little girl who couldn't have been more than 5 years old. Alara threw herself between them. The goblin's spear caught her in the shoulder. Pain exploded down her entire left side, white-hot and blinding. She felt the blade scrape against bone. But her hands were already moving, already casting.
Heal.
The golden light surrounded her, and something strange happened. The pain didn't just fade, it vanished completely. The wound didn't just close, it disappeared, leaving no trace. And suddenly she felt stronger, faster, like her entire body had been reinforced. She shoved the goblin backward with force she didn't know she had, grabbed the little girl, ran, made it to the root cellar, shoved the children inside, slammed the heavy wooden door and dropped the bar, turned around. 4 more goblins. An injured farmhand, a young Neko man with orange fur matted with blood, was leaning against a fence post, clutching a pitchfork with shaking hands. Alara ran to him and cast again.
Heal.
The golden light wrapped around him, and she watched his wounds close, watched his eyes widen as strength flooded back into his limbs.
We hold here, just a little longer. The night order is coming.
He nodded, gripping the pitchfork tighter, and they held.
The night order arrived 18 minutes later. By then, I'd been stabbed twice more, burned once by a goblin shaman's fire spell, and nearly trampled by a panicked horse. But every villager in the eastern quarter was alive, every single one.
The knight commander, a tall, severe-looking woman with silver hair and armor that had seen decades of use, found Alara sitting against a fence post, still healing the last of her wounds. Her healer's robes were torn and blood-stained, but she was alive.
You're the healer who stayed.
I nodded, too tired to speak.
Your party leader ordered a retreat.
Yes.
Seraphine knelt down, bringing herself to eye level with Alara. Her expression was unreadable.
We're always looking for people like you, people who don't run when things get hard. The Night Order could use a healer with your courage and your skill. I've never seen anyone heal themselves mid-combat like that and keep fighting.
I looked up at her, confused. Like what?
That wasn't standard healing magic you were using. That was something else, something stronger. Think about it. When you're ready, come find me. My name is Seraphine.
She walked away to coordinate with her knights, leaving Alara sitting there, staring at her hands.
What did she mean? It wasn't standard healing. I'd been casting heal, just heal, the same spell I'd always used, hadn't I? 3 days later, I stood in the Adventurers Guild Council chamber. The villagers had come, all of them. They testified about what happened, how Marcus had ordered the retreat while the village was under attack, how I stayed, how I fought, how the other 2 parties held their positions while Marcus's party fled.
Marcus tried to defend himself, standing before the council in his expensive armor, his voice confident and controlled.
It was a tactical decision. The situation was untenable. We had no way of knowing when reinforcements would arrive. Staying would have meant pointless deaths, including our healers. I made the call that would save my party.
Counselor Theron, a grizzled orc who'd been a guildmaster for 30 years, leaned forward.
You made the call that would save yourself. The contract was explicit. Hold the line. Protect the civilians. You did neither.
The contract also assumes adequate support.
The contract assumes you'll do your job. 3 parties were dispatched, 2 held, 1 ran. Your party abandoned a civilian population and left your own healer to die.
She chose to stay.
After you ordered a retreat in violation of your contract. 23 villagers testified that you were the first party on site and the first to leave. 16 testified that your healer personally saved their lives. The Night Order commander filed a formal commendation for her actions. Do you have anything to say that contradicts these facts?
Marcus's jaw tightened.
No.
Then this council revokes your adventuring license effective immediately. You are banned from accepting guild contracts in this region. Garrett Stone and Senna Autumnwind will receive formal reprimands and be placed on probationary status for 6 months. This hearing is concluded.
I didn't testify. I didn't need to. The villagers did it for me. I joined the Night Order the following week. Seraphine met me at the main garrison, a massive stone fortress on the northern edge of the capital. She walked me through the grounds, explaining how things worked, where I'd be stationed, what my duties would be.
You'll be assigned to the Eastern Battalion. 50 knights, all career soldiers. They train hard and they'll need healing during live drills. It's demanding work.
I can handle it.
Seraphine smiled slightly.
I know you can. That's why you're here.
She paused at the edge of the training yard where a group of knights were running formation drills, full armor, real weapons, hitting each other with enough force to leave bruises.
One thing. During your probationary period, we'll have one of our senior knights observe your healing techniques. Standard procedure for all new healers. We need to understand your capabilities.
Of course.
His name is Aldrich. He's been with the Order for 40 years. Fought in the Northern campaigns. He's seen more combat magic than anyone alive. He's also a bit gruff. Don't take it personally.
My first week was overwhelming. The pace was relentless. Nights rotated through training exercises from dawn until dusk. Sword drills, formation practice, tactical scenarios, and they hit each other, really hit each other. I spent 12 hours a day healing split lips, broken fingers, sprained joints, deep bruises, standard healing, the same spell I'd always used. Except it didn't feel the same. When I cast on the knights, they didn't just recover from their injuries, they seemed to bounce back faster, train harder, push longer without getting tired. I mentioned it to one of the junior knights, a young human woman named Claire who'd taken a nasty hit to the ribs during a shield wall drill. Does the healing feel different to you?
Claire stretched, testing her ribs. She asks, different how?
I don't know. Stronger? Longer lasting?
She thought about it. Claire says, I feel great. Better than great, actually. Like I could go another 3 rounds. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
On my 8th day with the Order, Aldrich finally showed up to observe. He was exactly as Seraphine described. A broad-shouldered dwarf with a gray beard, scars crisscrossing his arms, and an expression that suggested he'd seen everything twice and wasn't impressed either time. He watched me heal 6 different knights over the course of an hour. Didn't say a word, just observed with those sharp, calculating eyes. Finally, after I'd finished healing a knight who'd taken a blow to the head during a sparring match, Aldrich spoke.
How long have you been casting Rejuvenation?
I turned to him. I'm sorry?
Rejuvenation, the spell you're using. How long?
I'm not. I'm just using heal. Basic healing magic.
Aldrich's eyes narrowed.
Show me your spell work. Cast it again.
One of the knights had a minor cut on his forearm from a training accident. Alara placed her hands over the wound and focused.
Heal.
The golden light appeared, wrapping around the knight's arm. The cut sealed instantly. But the light didn't fade. It stayed, pulsing gently around his entire body for several seconds before gradually disappearing. Aldrich stepped closer, studying the lingering glow with an intensity that made Alara nervous.
Do you feel any different?
The knight flexed his arm, rolled his shoulders. The knight says, I feel good. Really good. Energized.
Stronger?
The knight nods. Yeah, actually. Like I could lift more weight than usual. Aldrich looked at Alara.
How long does that effect last?
I don't know. I didn't know there was an effect.
10 minutes, give or take. During that time, his body is in a state of continuous regeneration. Minor wounds heal on their own. Stamina doesn't deplete normally, and his physical capabilities are enhanced. Stronger attacks, better defense. That's not basic healing magic, girl. That's rejuvenation. It's a lost skill. I've only read about it in pre-war medical texts from the ancient kingdoms.
I stared at him. That's not possible. I'd been casting this for 5 years. Someone would have noticed.
Did you train formally at an academy?
No. I learned from a retired healer in my village. She taught me the basics, and I practiced until I could get my guild certification.
And the certification test?
They make you heal a standardized wound. They check if you can close it properly and if the patient stabilizes. That's it.
Aldrich nodded slowly.
So no one ever observed your casting long enough to notice the extended effects. And your previous party, did they ever question why your healing felt different?
They never said anything.
Because they probably assumed all healing worked like yours. They had no frame of reference, they just thought they were good at their jobs.
My mind was racing. All those hunts. All those times Garrett would tank massive hits and keep fighting. All those times Senna would land impossible shots. All those times Marcus would charge into groups of enemies without hesitation. They weren't skilled. They were enhanced by me, and they never knew. Does this change anything?
Aldrich's expression softened slightly.
Change anything? Girl, you just became the most valuable asset this battalion has. With rejuvenation, we can train twice as hard in half the time. We can push our knights to levels of combat readiness that would normally take years.
He clapped her on the shoulder with a hand that felt like iron.
You're going to revolutionize how we operate.
He wasn't exaggerating. Within 2 weeks, the training commander had completely restructured the battalion's schedule. What used to take 6 hours could now be done in 2. Knights could drill at full intensity without worrying about accumulating injuries or burning out. Sparring matches that used to end after 10 minutes due to fatigue could continue for half an hour. The battalion's combat effectiveness doubled. Everyone knew why, and everyone knew my name. It was strange being valued like this, being told to rest, being thanked. After a particularly brutal training session, I went to the kitchens to help prepare dinner. Old habits die hard. Within 5 minutes, 3 knights appeared.
A tall lizardman knight named Sarek spoke gently.
Ma'am, you've been healing all day. Please let us handle this.
I don't mind helping.
We mind. Please, sit.
Another knight, a young elf, pulled out a chair for her. He says, "You've done enough. Rest."
I sat. They brought me food, made sure I ate first, wouldn't let me lift a finger. It felt wrong, but also right, like this was how it should have always been. I found out later that the knights had an informal rotation. Ilara duty, they called it. Making sure I didn't overwork. Making sure I ate properly. Making sure no one took advantage. Not out of pity, out of respect. One evening, I was sitting in the common area, trying to mend a tear in my cloak. An older dwarf knight named Borin sat down across from me with 2 mugs of hot cider. He slid one across the table.
You don't have to do that, you know.
I know, but I like keeping busy.
He took a long drink.
I can see that. Can I tell you something?
Of course.
You jumped in front of children during a goblin raid, took a spear to the shoulder, kept fighting anyway. That's the kind of person we want watching our backs. So when we make sure you're taken care of, it's not charity, it's investment. We need you healthy, we need you sharp, and we need you to know that you're valued here.
My throat tightened. Thank you.
Borin stood, picking up his mug.
Don't thank me, just keep being who you are, and maybe let us carry the heavy stuff once in a while, eh?
He walked away, and I sat there in the common area, holding my cider, feeling something I hadn't felt in 3 years. Safe.
Marcus's new party took the Wyvern contract on a cold morning in late autumn, 6 weeks after Alara left. It was a standard hunt, the kind they used to complete twice a month. A wyvern had been spotted near the mining settlement of Greystone, harassing supply caravans. The guild posted it as a mid-tier contract with a 200 gold payout. Marcus had recruited a new healer 4 weeks earlier. A cheerful human man in his early 20s named Henrik, who'd just completed his guild certification. Henrik was competent, friendly, and eager to prove himself with a ranked party. The hunt started well enough. They tracked the wyvern to its nesting site in the foothills. Garrett took point with his shield, Senna positioned herself on elevated ground for clean shots, and Marcus called the approach.
Standard formation. Garrett holds aggro. Senna weakens it from range. I finish it when it's grounded. Henrik, stay back and heal as needed. This should be quick.
The wyvern spotted them when they were 50 yards out. It launched from its perch with a screech, wings spreading wide, diving straight at Garrett. The dwarf braced himself, shield raised, ready to absorb the impact the way he always did. The wyvern's claws hit the shield like a battering ram. Garrett's feet skidded backward, 3 feet. His arms shook under the impact. And for the first time in 3 years, he felt pain shoot up both arms from the force of the blow. Real pain, the kind that didn't fade instantly.
Henrik, I need healing.
You're not injured yet.
Just cast it, now.
Henrik frowned, but complied. The golden light of healing magic wrapped around Garrett briefly, then faded. Nothing changed.
You're at full health. What exactly am I healing?
The wyvern circled for another pass. Garrett stared at his hands, at his shield, at his own body like something fundamental had broken.
I feel weak. Why do I feel weak?
Marcus was already moving, trying to flank the wyvern for a strike. But his movements felt slower than usual, his strikes lacking the power he'd grown accustomed to. His sword connected with the wyvern's wing. The blade barely cut through the scales. He pulled back, examining his blade like it had dulled overnight. Senna loosed an arrow from her elevated position. It flew wide, missing the wyvern's head by 2 feet. She swore, knocking another arrow. Her hands were shaking slightly, her draw felt wrong. The second arrow hit the wyvern's shoulder but failed to penetrate deeply.
My shots aren't landing. Something's wrong.
The wyvern dove again, this time targeting Marcus. He tried to dodge, but his reaction time was just a fraction too slow. The wyvern's tail whipped around, catching him across the chest and sending him crashing into a boulder. The impact knocked the wind out of him. Pain exploded across his ribs, at least 2 cracked, maybe broken.
Henrik, heal.
Henrik was already running over, hands glowing. He cast emergency healing on Marcus's chest. The ribs snapped back into place. The pain receded. Marcus stood up, breathing hard, and immediately felt wrong. He was healed. The injury was gone, but he felt diminished, weakened, like his body was operating at 70% capacity.
Why aren't I back to full strength?
You are healed. The bones are set. You're stable.
Marcus started to protest, confusion and frustration warring on his face.
But I can't. I should be able to.
The wyvern landed on a boulder 30 yards away, watching them with predatory intelligence. It had barely been scratched, and they were already falling apart. The fight lasted another 10 brutal minutes. Garrett took another hit, the wyvern's tail slamming into his already injured shoulder and dislocating it completely. Henrik healed him, but Garrett couldn't lift his shield properly afterward. The joint was unstable, the surrounding muscles traumatized. Senna took a glancing blow to her side. Henrik closed the wound immediately, but she couldn't draw her bow without pain shooting through her entire torso. Her shots became wild, desperate. Marcus took 3 more hits, each one healed by Henrik, but each one leaving him weaker, slower, more compromised. They weren't recovering between injuries, they were accumulating damage. Finally, Marcus called the retreat.
Fall back. Everyone back to the cart.
They fled in disarray. Garrett stumbling with his useless shield arm, Senna clutching her side, Marcus limping from a leg injury that had been healed but still ached. The wyvern watched them go, unbothered. It had won without even trying. Back at their camp, Marcus paced furiously while Henrik checked everyone's injuries.
I healed everything. All wounds are closed. You're stable.
Garrett rotated his shoulder and winced.
Then why do we all feel like we got run over by a cart?
Because healing closes wounds. It doesn't restore you to perfect condition instantly. Your body's still experienced trauma. You need rest. A day, maybe 2.
A day? We used to fight 2, 3 hunts back to back without needing rest.
Henrik's expression shifted from defensive to confused.
That's not possible, not with standard healing. The human body doesn't work that way.
We did it all the time.
Then you must have had. What kind of healer did you have before me?
Just a healer. Basic healing magic. Same as you.
Did she do anything different? Any special techniques?
Marcus opened his mouth, closed it. He realized, with dawning unease, that he had no idea what Alara's casting had looked like. He'd never paid attention. Healing was healing, wasn't it?
She just healed us.
Did you feel stronger after being healed? More energized?
Yeah, obviously. That's the point of healing.
No, that's not the point of healing. Healing closes wounds and stabilizes you. It doesn't enhance you. It doesn't make you stronger than you were before the injury. Are you telling me your previous healer's magic made you feel empowered, like you could fight better than normal?
Garrett and Senna exchanged glances.
I mean, yeah, after Alara healed me, I could take more hits, fight longer.
I could make shots I normally couldn't make.
Henrik's frown deepened.
That's not standard healing. That's something else. Enhancement magic, maybe. Or, wait, did your wounds heal over time after she cast, like continuously?
Marcus thought back, tried to remember, and realized he'd never had to remember. Injuries just went away, completely, while they were still fighting.
Guess.
How long did the effect last?
I don't know. 10 minutes? 15?
And during that time, you'd heal from new injuries automatically, while still fighting?
Yes.
Henrik sat down heavily on a supply crate.
That's rejuvenation. That's a lost skill. It's legendary. I've only read about it in historical texts. Do you have any idea how rare that is? How valuable?
Marcus felt something cold settle in his stomach.
How valuable.
Priceless. Kingdoms used to go to war over healers with that skill. Entire military strategies were built around them. And you let her go? You had a healer with rejuvenation, and you?
We didn't know.
How could you not know?
She never told us.
Did you ever ask? Did you ever question why your party could do things other parties couldn't? Why you could take contracts above your skill level and survive?
Silence hung in the air. Garrett spoke slowly, realization dawning in his voice.
It wasn't her. It was never us. It was her the whole time.
Senna made a small sound, something between a laugh and a sob.
We treated her like a servant, made her cook and clean, and she was the only reason we were succeeding.
Marcus's mind was racing, trying to calculate, trying to find a solution.
We can get her back.
Henrik looked at him like he'd grown a second head.
You abandoned her during a goblin raid. You had your license revoked. She joined the Night Order. What makes you think she'd even talk to you?
I'll offer her more money, better terms, co-leadership.
She doesn't need your money. The Night Order pays extremely well, especially for specialized healers, and even if she wanted to come back, which she won't, why would the Order let her leave? They know what she can do now. They're never letting her go.
Then what are we supposed to do?
Henrik closed his pack and stood.
You learn to fight properly, like everyone else who doesn't have a legendary healer carrying them.
He walked to the edge of the camp, then turned back.
I'm heading back to the city in the morning. I'll heal you one more time before I go, but after that, I'm done. I'm not getting killed because you people don't know basic survival tactics. Good luck. You're going to need it.
3 months passed. The wyvern hunt had been the beginning, but it wasn't the end. Marcus pushed for a reputation recovery hunt despite his party's incomplete recovery. They engaged an ogre pack they'd hunted successfully a dozen times before. But without rejuvenation, everything went wrong. Garrett took an early hit and collapsed instead of staying engaged. His arm gave out completely. Senna attempted to kite but got cornered. An ogre's fist came down on her hand, crushing bones. The sound was sickening. Marcus nearly died. He survived only because their new healer John cast emergency healing at the last second. But John watched the party operate with no defensive discipline, no damage mitigation strategy, no retreat protocols. He'd seen enough. During the fighting retreat, John stopped healing. He announced his immediate contract termination and walked away, leaving them to flee on their own. Senna's hand never recovered. The nerves were too damaged. She couldn't draw a bow anymore. Garrett's shoulder had chronic pain that made tanking impossible. Within 2 weeks, both of them retired from adventuring. Marcus tried to rebuild. He posted recruitment notices at 3 different guild halls, met with 12 potential party members over the next month. Every interview ended the same way. The potential recruit would ask, "You're the Marcus Kane, the one whose party fell apart?" Marcus would try to explain that they were just restructuring. Then would come the follow-up. "I heard your healer was the only reason you survived most of your contracts. That true?" And finally, "I heard you abandoned her during a goblin raid." After the 8th rejection, Marcus stopped trying to defend himself. After the 12th, he stopped posting notices. 4 months after leaving Alara to die, Marcus returned to the capital. He told himself he was just passing through, just resupplying, just checking on some old contacts. But his feet carried him to the Night Order garrison. He waited outside the gates from dawn until mid-morning, watching knights come and go, watching supply carts roll in and out. And then he saw her. Alara was walking across the training yard with a group of junior knights, laughing at something one of them said. She wore Night Order robes now, clean, well-fitted, with a healer's insignia on the shoulder and a commendation pin on her chest. She looked healthy, rested, happy. She looked like someone who belonged. Marcus's throat tightened. He stepped forward, intending to call out to her. A hand clamped down on his shoulder. He turned to find Commander Seraphine standing behind him, her expression cold.
This is a restricted area.
I need to talk to Alara.
She's working.
Please, just 5 minutes. I made a mistake. I know I did. But we can fix this. I'll give her full profit shares. Better than full. I'll make her party leader. I'll do whatever she wants. Just, please.
Seraphine's grip on his shoulder tightened.
She doesn't want to talk to you.
You don't know that. You haven't asked her.
I don't need to ask her. I was there when she joined. I saw what you did to her. You left her to die. You exploited her for years, and now you want her back because you can't function without her.
That's not...
Leave. Now.
Marcus tried to step around her.
Alara, please.
His shout carried across the training yard. Alara stopped, turned, looked directly at him. For a moment, their eyes met. Marcus saw no anger in her expression, no hate, just nothing. She looked at him the way you'd look at a stranger. Then she turned back to the junior knights and continued walking, like he didn't exist. Seraphine's hand moved to her sword.
I won't tell you again. Leave.
2 villagers from Milford were there that day, delivering supplies to the garrison. They recognized Marcus immediately.
That's him. That's the coward who ran.
More voices joined in, villagers and knights alike. He abandoned his healer during the goblin raid, left her to die and ran like a coward. She saved my daughter. He saved himself. Marcus backed away, hands raised, trying to speak, trying to explain, but no one was listening. The crowd grew. Villagers, knights, people who'd heard the story, people who'd been there. "Get out of here. We don't want you here. You're not welcome." Marcus fled, ran back through the city streets, heart pounding, face burning with shame. He made it back to his rented room and sat on the bed staring at his hands. He'd had everything, a top-ranked party, respect, money, success, and he'd thrown it away because he thought he was the reason for it all, because he couldn't see what was right in front of him, because he'd treated the Foundation like a servant.
I got promoted to chief healer of the Eastern Battalion on a cold morning in early spring. Commander Seraphine called me into her office and told me formally, though I'd already heard rumors.
You've revolutionized how we train. Combat readiness is up 40%, injury rates are down 60%, and morale has never been higher. The position comes with a significant pay increase and your own quarters in the officer's wing.
Thank you.
Seraphine smiled.
Don't thank me. You earned it. Marcus Kane tried to see you last month.
I'd known. I'd seen him. I know.
He's left the capital. Took a guard position in some border town up north. He won't bother you again.
Good. And I meant it. I still help in the kitchen sometimes. Old habits die hard. But now when I do, the knights smile and work alongside me. They don't take the tasks from my hands. They share them.
Sarek said one evening while they were chopping vegetables.
You don't have to do this, you know.
I know. I like helping.
Then we'll help together.
And we did. I train the new recruits now. Teach them how to fight with Rejuvenation active, how to push their limits, how to trust their healer. And every single one of them knows the story. Not because I tell it, but because the older knights do.
Chief Healer Alara stayed when her party ran, saved an entire village, then joined us and made us twice as strong.
They say it with pride, like I'm someone worth protecting. And maybe I am. Nothing magical happened. No one was outsmarted. Reality just stopped bending. The person who'd been holding everything together walked away, and everything fell apart.
Thank you so much for listening to this story. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Have you ever been in a situation where you realized you were the only thing holding something together? What did you do? And if you have a story you'd like me to turn into an audio drama, whether it's about justice, karma, or just something that needs to be told, share it in the comments. I read every single one. Also, just for fun, drop a comment telling me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is there. I love knowing this community spans the whole globe. Take care of yourselves. And remember, you're not the backup plan, you're not the safety net, you're the whole foundation. And if people can't see that, let them find out the hard way.